A rainy Saturday here in Washington, D.C. President Trump inside the White House, we're told, working this Saturday. He's expected to roll out his infrastructure plan on Monday. The announcement coming on the heels of the bipartisan budget deal in Congress, which the president weighed in Friday. This is what he tweeted. Costs on non-military lines will never come down if we do not elect more Republicans in the 2018 election and beyond. This bill, referring to the spending bill, is a big victory for our military, but much waste in order to get Dem votes. Fortunately, DACA not included in this bill. Negotiations to start now, and that is where we start with West Palm Beach radio host Brian Mudd, 1290 on your AM dial as you cruise around southeast Florida. Nice to see you as always, Brian.
Yeah, it's great to be back with you, and I'll try not to rub in that it's 80 and sunny here right now.
Well, you just did, so nice try.
Oh, sorry.
It is, you look at this tweet from the president, it's clear he's saying, look, we had to give up a lot as Republicans to get this deal through Congress, and even some conservative Republicans didn't go along with it. How much leeway does he get when it comes to DACA to make a deal with Democrats?
I don't think he has to give too much ground. I'll give you the reason why. I think the secret is in the State of the Union address. You're probably aware that in an aggregate of the polling, 73% of Americans who watched that State of the Union had a positive response to it. And when you take a look at the top three issues and the way they resonated with voters, number one was infrastructure, which we hear there's going to be a rollout. Number two happened to be immigration and the president's version of immigration as he laid out. Number three, by the way, incidentally, was military and defense. And we saw that he got what he wanted in the budget deal on that. So he takes that off the table.
Brian,
so
you and I both know that hardline Trump supporters view any deal on DACA as nothing short of amnesty, especially some of the proposals that have been floated.
Okay, no question. So you're right about that. Polling will show anywhere from 70 to 80% of Americans are in favor of a DACA solution. But when you take a look at the hardest core supporters, the numbers do go down, certainly on the right. And there are people that view any path towards citizenship as amnesty. However, what I'll tell you is I believe that if the wall is included and that wall is built, ultimately you will find the base being able to make its peace with potentially that 12-year path for citizenship that the president had proposed.
All right. So that's the proposal I'm hearing from you. I've heard from other talk radio hosts, this idea of wall versus citizenship, fair bargain. Fox and Friends earlier had a young, quote-unquote, dreamer, as they are called, on their show. This is what he had to say. Take a listen.
You're looking at a president that's all about results, and it's all about, and at the end of the day, I think he needs to meet Democrats in the middle, and he's bringing this pathway to citizenship so that we can actually finally get something done, immigration reform. In terms of legislation, you're possibly looking at one of the greatest presidents to get things done. I mean, look at the tax cuts. He got that done.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's on target. I think the president watches the polls like any politician, and I actually think he's more pragmatic and thought out than a lot of people do. If you flash back a year ago and you take a look at the top three issues by voters, we saw that health care reform was number one, tax reform two, and the Supreme Court vacancy was number three. What did he do? The easiest win was the Supreme Court vacancy. He took that up first, and then we saw that it was more challenging the rest of the way, but ultimately ended up getting tax reform passed and had kind of like the bonus on health care reform with the individual mandate at least being eliminated. And I think we're looking at a similar situation. I think he knows he has the upper hand. He has momentum right now. And here he just got a win on the number three issue that he was looking for. And I think the March 5th deadline on DACA will force the hand of this debate so he can pursue infrastructure as well.
Well, it certainly is going to force somebody's hand. Whether it forces the president's hand or whether it forces Congress's hand is yet to be seen. Lastly, how big of an issue is DACA to the Hispanic community down in southeast Florida? Big voting blocks that some of which went surprisingly for President Trump. Do they give him leeway on this, or is this something that the Democrats can peel off a little support on?
No question, it is a hot button issue. It's definitely a bigger issue here than it is elsewhere. One of the things that is often lost nationally about South Florida, people will take a look at polls and data in terms of Hispanic. Well, Hispanic means about 30 different things in South Florida. The Cubans think much differently than Venezuelans, than often you'll see from other South American countries. And so the issues are unique to the constituencies of those individual people. And I think you do see that DACA is incredibly important because virtually everybody knows somebody in South Florida that ultimately would be impacted by whatever the decision is here.
Well, as they say, all politics are local. Nowhere is that more true than where you are. We'll look forward to your thoughts on the radio and the interwebs beyond. Good talking to you, my friend.